Hello, audience. We're back again. Ah, well, today I want to talk about the biggie. Not the biggie smalls, but the big deal. It's a big one. But if we can grasp this, then a lot of nonsense, a lot of noise just drops off of us. And I want to talk about. I hope music is not too loud. I want to talk about what you call it. Sorry about that. Sorry about technical difficulties. But anyway, I'm gonna keep on rolling because I like it to keep it real. Listen, I want to talk about. I want to call BS on the whole concept of psychology. I want to look at it, dissect it, and basically see what's on the other side. Psychology, psychoanalysis, it's all the same thing. And I want to make a statement, and then later we're going to go into it, and I want to, for you to see for yourself that that statement in fact is true. And the statement is that no therapy, no consultations, nothing to do with psychology is ever going to help you to rid and dissolve your issues. It's a heavy statement, but I want to really go into it and see if it's true or not. Meaning that the entire psychological industry that's been developed has not helped a single soul to grow. It hasn't helped a single soul to grow. It actually, in fact, what it did, because it was so good at describing the psychological belief systems, it became a great tool to manipulate people. However, it did not release anyone from the suffering. It actually exacerbated and made it worse, because look at what's going on. Like, why am I saying that the entire psychological field of study is, I don't know how to say it nicely, but it's useless. That's the nicest way I can say. It's absolutely useless. And if we were not so nice, I can even say that it makes the suffering worse. And you may say, like, what are you talking about? So people go there to get help, and you're saying that all of these people are just making it worse. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You may have a temporary alleviation, just as drinking alcohol may alleviate your pain. The same way going and speaking with somebody about your problems may alleviate temporarily, but it did not go away. It's still there. But now you got all this knowledge about it, the belief system, For example, you may see that, okay, you're easily distracted, right? Easily distracted. But then it can turn out into this psychological mumbo jumbo and put a label on you and say, well, you have ADHD. Okay, so now not only that you have a distraction, now you have a belief system that you have ADHD. You're frozen yourself as if you cannot grow, as you cannot evolve. So now you have ADHD, And and the belief system is what perpetuates and creates the reality. You see? And honestly, like, if we really look into this, the way it works is like that. Look, right, so you have pain, you have pain about something, you got hurt, right? And then you want a solution. So what you're gonna do about it? Now, of course, because we use the mind, the logic, to resolve the material aspects in our world, we use the same tool for psychological aspects of our world in this world. So this is an error. You see, like, this is the invasion of intellect into the psyche. The whole field is called psychology. It means logic about the psyche. Now, I'm saying that this is the point where you start entering into a trap. Because at first you had just a little hurt. Then you made a big deal out of it, create a belief system, and now it perpetuates. Because you use the mind and the logic, and of course nobody teaches you of how to rid of it once and for all. Looking for the solutions, and they're all just coping mechanisms, right? Psychology is a coping mechanism, or psychotherapy is a coping mechanism, okay? Everything, almost everything, all the industries, if you look into, you'll see that all these industries, there's the industries of pain, a pain alleviating industries, and that's emotional pain. I really like this because I really like to always find the first domino, you know, when it all go wrong, and this is it. Like, even the Bible says the knowledge of good and evil. This is where you are losing the logic, yes, no, right? Like, all these logical systems, you know, if then else kind of thing, right? And you use that and you enter it into your psyche to resolve the problems. This is the first error, you see? This is where you already entered the labyrinth and you are in the maze. So what you gonna do now, huh? You're in the maze, and everywhere you go is a dead end. It's pain, suffering, pain, suffering, pain, suffering. But in the labyrinth, there's a way out. But here's the thing: you can't see the way out. When you're in the labyrinth, you can't see the way out because you got yourself into this mess by using logic on your psyche. And now you're just convoluted. You know, like all these people talk about giving you concepts. Oh, this is what's going on, like this. So you're becoming a really good and educated about the processes of the psyche. Did not help you one bit to let go the root cause, the seed of pain. Did not help you one bit. You just became so good at it, and now you can manipulate other people because you know what's going on, and it turns into really nasty, fake ass shit. You know, like people are becoming like learning these techniques and all that stuff, and so they are trying to imitate compassion. You know, it's a creepy thing. You know, if your partner does this, then you do that. Then it's if-then kind of situation. So then, of course, don't be surprised when you're doing the techniques on your partner and your partner says, "Get the fuck out of here with your robot bullshit," you know, because I can feel you're not there. It's just a robot interacting with me like an AI. And you can't fake the compassion. The people who actually understand, or I shouldn't say understand, because it's just feel compassion. You can immediately feel the energy of another person is coming with some manipulative nonsense or bullshit that you learn on watching these psychological so-called experts. Yeah, I'm calling all of them out. No, I don't need to name names. They all suck balls. You know? They all suck balls. And of course they're part of this trap too, you see, because they need to do this, because now they have a role of psychologist. So they have to have somebody to listen to them, you know? So they're in the same trap. In fact, a lot of psychologists have bigger problems than you do. So yeah, if you're planning to study psychology, think twice. Because here's the thing, you know, all these industries that we see that they're dealing with pain, the pain industries, right? they're all going to go away, because people are going to start learning of how to heal themselves very easily, how to, you know, learn that there's another faculty that exists besides the mind. You know, you see kids playing around, you know, sometimes they cry, sometimes they laugh, but they're all in the innocent state. Everything's cool. None of them just make it into, you know, or you have a psychological problem or whatever. No, they're just playing and everything is fine. Only adults start messing it all up and start trying to fix life with their logic, you know? Nonsense, man. And if you really look at this, it's not just the psychology. You'll see all these industries just keep on going and going and going, and all of them are built on one fact that is incorrect. It's the invasion of intellect into your heart. Intellect has no place in your heart. Psyche is another word for it, right? Intellect has no place in your heart. Intellect has a good place in material world. See, that's even government, for example. Government, by the way, of course, if you don't know, it means control of the mind. That's the exact same thing I'm talking about. The intellect invading your psyche and telling you what's going on, what to do, rather than allowing you to discover everything for yourself and to discover the truth for yourself. So no, you grab on the belief system because you have pain and are gonna get some security in the belief system. You see, all belief systems are coping mechanisms with undealt pain. All of them. And you see, that's why a lot of times if you try to take away a person's belief system, they get really agitated, really angry, because you are revealing the crap that is there, they've never dealt with, you see. And nobody can deal for them. That's another thing, you know. Even like this, all kind of spiritual healing, any kind of authority, when you talk about emotional and spiritual thing, no authority can do this for you. It's only you that you can heal in once and for all, at the root cause. Just not have that at all. Boom. In all the industry, all the money that you're wasting on all these listening, going to the seminars, having all sorts of healings and all that shit just goes away. It's not necessary anymore, because that pain is gone. And this is what's happening. A lot of people are learning how easy it is to just face life. Just face life, you know. You're not gonna rid of necessarily the ups and downs of life and the emotions and all these things. I don't think. But you can be enjoying whatever happens. You know, that's not to say that you're not, you know, just letting everything go, because that's another trap. Just letting, it's really just feeling everything, not running away from anything, because there's nothing to run away to. Pain only happens when you run away from it. Because if you face this and stay with it for a little bit, you immediately see that it's nothing uncomfortable. It morphs into something, wow, something beautiful, you know. You have these sometimes emotional release, but a permanent release. That you don't need to fix that anymore, because you have your own faculty to deal with. So yeah. And you see, this is, call it matrix, whatever you want to call it, but that's the game that you play. There's this movement away from pain. All these industries are built on that, you see. Government is necessary, all of that. But in reality, if you for yourself decide that you're done with suffering, there's no way life is suffering, okay, and you start believing all this bullshit that life is suffering, think about how ridiculous it is. You know, do you think you're that stupid to incarnate in this life and suffer? I don't think so. I think it's just a belief system. that makes you suffer. And you're not a belief system. You can rid of belief system. So I just want you to see this for yourself, like, because, okay, we use the logic on the psyche, put us in a trap. Now what do we do? Okay, let's say we're in a trap. What do we do? Okay, so we can see that we can look at ourselves. We can turn it around and look at ourselves. And what do we see there? It's just like in a labyrinth, where if you're in a maze, you can't see the exit. But if you zoom out, you look at the labyrinth itself, you see, oh, that's the exit. That's right. That's the exit from the trap. And you can see that all of the different logical structures that lead to the exit is the labyrinth. But after the exit, there's nothing. It's empty. This is where your own mind can lead you to the exit, but it cannot make a next step. Like just in an airplane, if you want to, have the jumping out of airplane experience, it's the same thing. It can take you to the doors, but you gotta jump. You gotta jump. If somebody pushes you out, you learn nothing. You have not stepped. You have not learned courage. So your own mind, your own logic guided you into this problem, and it can take you out of it, but you gotta turn it on itself, and then watch yourself and say, okay, here's what's happening with me. Okay, so I'm suffering. Why? Something is going on. It triggers me. I have uncomfortable, pain. Or, for example, I have a belief system so rigid to protect my pain that I'm paralyzed, and I'm not even. I'm scared to do anything. I'm scared to be myself and all these things because I'm gonna get hurt. So little by little to say, well, let me try to face this. Like it says, for example, okay, I'm not loved or something like that, right? And then of course that creates your reality, projects into reality, and sure enough, people treat you in a way that it makes you feel that you're not loved. But what if you face it? Let's say something happens, right? And an occasion where you feel unloved, feelings start happening, okay? And then the belief system starts saying, see, you're not loved, you're not loved, you're not loved. But what if you just say, okay, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna face what's going on emotional level. And just be with that. And so, you know what I'm saying? You just stay with it and say like, well, I'm not gonna move from it. I'm just gonna stay with it. And you're not trying to rid of it as well. You're letting it be. Don't worry about rid of it. You can get rid of it. It will go. It will dissolve on itself. If you try to get rid of it, it's gonna feel very uncomfortable. So just have this like space for this to be. You give that space to be. And then you may have the real emotional release, or something. And then after that, you may even have a realization. It's like, oh my God, that's not how it is. And then you access the truth, because on the other side of belief is truth. When you're rid of belief, you fall back on the truth and love. That's what happens. So if you do that once, that thing is gone. What therapy are you talking about? And I mean, therapist, if you look at that word really, really carefully and analyze it, it doesn't look so good, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not blaming anyone, right? Like, so if someone is a psychologist and says, so what am I going to do with my life now? I'm a psychologist, I do this all the time. Well, yeah, you're going to have to get out of this trap. You're probably in a field, got trapped just like other people, It's not your fault, we're all getting trapped. But we got to figure the way out. And then you're probably not enjoying this, if you're really honest with yourself. And so what I'm going to do after, if I'm not going to do this, what else I'm going to do? You're probably going to do something that you wanted to do when you were a kid. paint, create something, um, some art, music, play, create, make love, all of those things that soul is here for. you know uh, and that's going to lead to renaissance. When we're all going to leave this industries of pain, we're going to start creating something beautiful, something awesome. It's going to be a renaissance, and it's not scary. That's why you don't need to be threatened. It's like, well, my entire belief system's threatened. I studied psychology for 30 years and you're telling me this all bullshit, it doesn't help anyone. Exactly. You got trapped, you got scammed. And again, it's not your fault. I mean, they were not, what I'm saying, like, we don't have this in our culture to live a free life. In the ancient days, in tribes, they didn't have these problems, didn't have to have a psychologist, because they didn't have psychological reasons. For them was just a spiritual growth. You get to the point in life where that thing is there, you're going through a certain transition. The old you is dying, new you is born. Boom, done. What psychologist you talking about, every single person had these points of transition, had these points of, um, it's just a part of life. And it's not difficult. It's actually the easiest thing that you can do. It doesn't require any effort to just be. Nothing to do with the mind, by the way. So, I don't know if you see this, man. If you really see this, then you see that, oh, hold on, the adding to my intellect about my emotions is the problem. See, this is where the metaphorical fruit, right? The knowledge of good and evil, right? When that goes away, what happens when you don't have the knowledge of this or that, which is a belief system? It's the knowledge of good and evil is description of the belief system.